Shalom, family. This is Yuda. And today we're going to talk about how do you hear the Creator? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because of the many times that I've heard over the years people claiming to have heard audibly from the Most High. Now, this is not to put anybody down, so don't take it the wrong way. We're just going to go by the scriptures and the scriptures only. So how do you hear the Creator? We'll start with hear, O Israel. This means listen to my words. The Most High Creator is our Creator, and He is alone. Simple English will establish that Jesus and the Holy Creator, if that's the case, is two, but supposed to be alone. So I doubt very seriously if the Most High is making a mistake here. So how do we hear the Creator? Let's start with thus saith. This means I am speaking. Thus saith the Most High means that the Creator has spoken His sure, infallible word. A corollary of this in the minds of many Christians is that we must have absolute, infallible answers to every question raised in the historical study of the Bible. In the Torah, we find, ye are the children of the Most High, your Creator. Deuteronomy 14:1. And in the story of the escape from Egypt, we find, and thou, Moses, shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Creator, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22. We also find that he, Solomon, shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 2 that at Mount Sinai the Most High betrothed himself to Israel. That means he engaged or he married himself to this tribe of the nation of Israel. As it is written, go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith the Creator. He's speaking again. I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. The explanation of this matter is provided in the 13th chapter of Ezekiel, where it is said, the word of the Creator came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy, and say, thus saith the Most High Creator. Thus saith, he's speaking again. How ye, woe worth the day, for the day is near, even the day of the Creator is near. It is therefore evident then that the day of woe is the day of the Creator. For in that day, woe is upon the heedless, the sinners, and the ignorant. So I do say thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Creator. Why do I keep emphasizing this? Because the only place you find this statement is in the book of the law, the Torah. You will not find this in the New Testament, which means that the Most High is not speaking there. So if he's not speaking there, how can you hear him? Where the price is based on or is to be adjusted according to net landed weights, delivered weights, outturned quantity or quality, or the like. Unless otherwise agreed, the seller must reasonably estimate the price. Thus saith the Creator. It's not a coincidence that all through the Torah he says this. So to me, and my understanding is he's making a point. He's not just having this written down for no reason. He's making a point. The Most High does not do anything that's pointless. Everything he does serves a purpose. That includes every word he inspired to be written. And he keeps saying, thus saith the Creator. Put forth thy right hand, and set up thy knowledge therewith. Sleep not, and wake not until I come to thee. The Sabbath was shifted to Sunday and December 25th, the birthday of their sun god, Mithra, was introduced as Jesus' birthday. Although the Bible clearly predicted and forbade the decoration of Christmas trees in Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 2 to 5. Thus saith the Creator. Again, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. Thus saith the Creator, is not to be set aside for a thus saith the church, or thus saith the state. We are not required to defy the authorities. Is it any wonder that the same prophet declares, Ephraim shall say, what have I to do any more with idols? Hosea chapter 4 and verse 8. Concerning this fact of Israel receiving the truth while cast out, thus saith the Creator. The people which we were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel. Thus saith the Creator. Therefore, I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right. And listen to this, and I hate every false way. New Testament. New Testament is the false way. Psalms 119, verse 128. To the law. What is the law? Where is the law? It's in the Torah. There is no law written in the New Testament. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word. This word. We're referring to the Torah, like it says, to the law. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. What does that mean? Those of you who are reading, studying, quoting, and living according to the New Testament, there is no light in you. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. Behold, the days come, saith the Creator, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Creator. Okay? This New Testament is creating this famine because it has drawn more than 2/3 of Israel to it. It is creating this very famine. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Creator, and shall not find it. Why can't they find it? Because they're in the wrong place, looking in the wrong place. His word is not in the New Testament. It is in the Torah. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. Amos chapter 8, verse 11 to 13. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. What does that mean? New Testament is not sound doctrine. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. A fable is a doctrine of fiction. The New Testament is a fable. It is a doctrine of fiction. Deuteronomy 29 and verse 29. The secret things belong to the Creator, our Father, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow all the words of this law. Again, where is the law? It's in the Torah. That is the only book where the laws were given. Psalms 119, verse 98 to 100. Though thy commandments has made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts, the Torah. Isaiah 48, verse 17. Thus saith the Most High, again, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Creator, your Father, which teaches thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way that you should go. Exodus 19 and 5. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, and again, where is he speaking? In the Torah, not the New Testament. And keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. The Most High of the Old Testament is allegedly, according to most Christians, a nasty human invention. The meek and mild Savior of the New Testament is the better version of the Most High, some assert. This lie has been popular since at least the 2nd century. Now my question is this: why is there a change in the personality of the Most High from the Old Testament to the New Testament? Didn't the Creator say he does not change? Malachi 3 and 6. After all, in the Old Testament, the Most High authorizes the Israelites to bear the sword and use it against their enemies, while Jesus in the New Testament advocates non-violence. That is a total 360, a total turn away from what the Most High told us in the Torah. He had a purpose and a reason for us to bear arms. So the New Testament Jesus advocates nonviolence and warns his disciples, whoever lives by the sword will die by it. So let's look at a few things the New Testament says. Jesus fulfills the law and prophets by doing for us what we have failed to do. He kept God's laws perfectly as our substitute, so that his righteousness is credited to us through faith in him. If this is true, then why are people still breaking the law, sinning? If Jesus fulfilled the law of sin, why are we commanded to repent daily? Why are we waiting to be saved? The Christians say Israel's prophets, priests, and kings foreshadow the Christ who was coming to redeem not only Israel, but what? All humanity. Y'all remember this. All humanity. Joel chapter 2 verse 27 says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the creator, their father, and none else. But up here, JC says, all humanity. So do you see the lie? And my people shall never be ashamed. Let's look at Exodus chapter 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice, indeed, and keep my covenant. Where was the covenant? The Torah. Nowhere else. Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people, set apart. That means separated from all the other nations, unto the Creator your Father. The Creator your Father hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That means everybody except Israel. Israel was chosen above every other nation. That separated us, people. Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, not other nations. Psalms 33 and verse 12. Blessed is the nation whose creator is their father, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. That eliminates all people. Psalms 105 and verse 6. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. That means like a drop of water compared to a full bucket of water. That's how little they mean to him. And are counted as the small dust, one grain of sand of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. He's simply saying, the other nations simply mean nothing to me. You are my chosen, Israel. Ezekiel 20 and 5. And say unto them, thus saith the Creator, in the day when I chose Israel, and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt, when I lifted up mine hand unto them, saying, I am the Creator, your Father. Amos 3 and 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Y'all get that? Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Ecclesiastes 17, verse 17 and 18. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Creator's portion. You see the separation here. Ecclesiasticus 17 and verse 18. Whom being his firstborn, he nourishes with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him. 2 Ezra 5 and 27. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people, not the whole world. Thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest thou gave a law that is approved of all. That law is in the Torah. He didn't give any laws or even speak in the New Testament. 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all the creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. The difference between this and this is that this wasn't chosen. It says, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. As we've seen all the way from the top to here, we have seen him choose Israel only. Isaiah 44 verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For you, Israel, are a people holy to the Creator, your Father. JC says he came to save all the people, the whole world. The Most High, your Creator, has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. So my question is, if the Most High only chose Israel, then why did Jesus send his apostles to all the Gentiles or all the people of the world? Is this not going against the Most High, who said, Israel alone I have chosen? Doesn't this prove that you cannot hear the Most High in the New Testament? Doesn't this prove the Most High does not speak in the New Testament? Does the New Testament ever say, thus saith the Most High? Only Jesus speaks in the New Testament. Therefore, you cannot hear the Creator speak in a place he never was. There is no mention of keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments in the New Testament, or at least to keep them according to the Most High's Torah. Only Jesus saying, if you love him, then keep his commandments. So we have two sets of commandments. The commandments of the Holy Creator and the commandments of Jesus. When was the New Testament written? The New Testament has 27 books, written between about 50 and 100 AD, and falling naturally into two sections: the Gospels, which tell the story of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the letter or epistles written by various Christian leaders to provide guidance for the earliest church communities. Who authorized this book, since the last time the Creator spoke to man was in the book of Malachi? It is easy to forget that the earliest Christians did not yet have the New Testament. They had the scriptures of Judaism, what is called the Old Testament or Torah, but they had no writings of their own until Paul started to write to the churches he had founded. Who founded them? Paul founded the churches. Sometimes in the 50s AD, a couple of decades after the crucifixion of the so-called Jesus, the Gospels were not written till later, still, probably in the 70s to 90s AD. Until then, the stories of Jesus and his sayings must have circulated orally. A generation or two of Christians thus managed without a written record of Jesus. In New Testament times, there was no New Testament. Let me highlight that. There was no New Testament. We were to follow the writings of the prophets who never mentioned Jesus. Why are they called Christians after the so-called Jesus? Wouldn't it make more sense to be called after the one Creator who said they are called by his name? Why was the Old Testament prophets not called Christians? Are we to believe that this was a change made by the Most High? Doesn't this mean that the people are now supposed to follow a man called Jesus instead of him who created us? There was a shift from following the one and only creator to following a creation. The Torah was a covenant between the Most High and Israel. The New Testament appears to be a covenant between Jesus and man, completely dismissing the one true creator. The Torah was more than sufficient for the Creator's chosen people. There was absolutely no need for anything new. The Most High covered everything in his original book. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Remember when Jesus said he gives a new command? Look at that in John chapter 13 and 34. A new commandment I give unto you. How was this new? Look at Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18, coming from the Torah. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Creator. So Jesus said up here that he gave this as a new commandment. That's what he's talking about. Love, love, love. But that's not new. That obviously came from Leviticus. Look at what else Jesus said. In Luke chapter 14 and verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So he's telling you to hate everybody. But up here, this new command that he gave was to love everybody, including your enemy. So now let's look again at what Jesus also said. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor. Well, didn't he just say up here to hate? Didn't he just say to hate everybody right here? Your father, mother, wife, children, brothers, sisters, even your own self? Yes. And down here, he says, you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. And pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. You got to wonder, what Father is he talking about? So much confusion and discrepancy. So which one do they follow? Love or hate? So again, I ask, how do you hear the Creator if you are struggling with the commands of Jesus? If he was the Son of God and was the result of an immaculate conception, why did Mary go through childbirth and Joseph have to live a lie pretending that he was the biological father? If the Most High was able to build Adam from dust and Eve from a rib, why didn't he just send Jesus down as a grown man, instead of having to endure being a child, going through puberty, growing into a man? It makes absolutely no sense forcing a young married couple to bring up a child that they weren't even planning on having. In other words, why would the Creator need a human woman to fulfill his purpose? After all, he has the power to do whatever he wishes. Why would he need flesh, which is far beneath himself? The Most High said that men of flesh could not look upon him and live. Yet many people looked upon this Jesus and lived. So let's look at plagiarism of the New Testament. Y'all watch this closely. Starting with Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. I'm going to show you how they took from the Old Testament to validate the New Testament. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Creator, our Father, is one Father. Now, Mark chapter 12 and verse 29. The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. It's saying the same thing up here. They just see how they reworded it. They had to reword it to make it look like it was written according to the, I guess you would say, the will of the Most High Creator. But the Most High had nothing to do with this. They copied this. Now look at Matthew chapter 1 and verse 23. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. Look at Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 14. Therefore, the Creator himself will give you a sign. A young woman will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. I mean, this is painfully obvious. Now, I want you to see the difference between Matthew chapter 1 and 23 and Isaiah chapter 7 and 14. I'm going to pick out something specific. Matthew says the virgin will conceive. Now, the one thing you have to understand here, when the word virgin is being used, according to Scripture, the word virgin really means a young woman of marriageable age. But in this verbal usage, Matthew made it look like a virgin of a woman that has never had sex. Down here, let's see what Isaiah said. Therefore, the Most High himself will give you a sign. A young woman of marriageable age. This is the difference from here to here. This is claiming that a woman who has been without a man her complete life suddenly conceives a child. It doesn't show you that the word virgin means a marriageable young woman of marriageable age, where Isaiah does. Isaiah shows you virgin means a young woman of marriageable age. She will conceive and give birth to a son. And this is not pointing to Jesus. This scripture, Isaiah was prophesying of the coming of Hezekiah. He was showing his father Ahaz that he was going to have a son. Now, Luke chapter 7 and verse 27. This is the one about whom it is written, I will send my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare you your way before you. Now, in Malachi 3 and 1, I will send my messenger who will prepare the way before me. Then suddenly the Lord you are seeking will come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant whom you desire will come, says the Creator Almighty. Do y'all see the difference between here? Can you see they copied this? What good is a book that is simply repeating what has already been said? And that's pretty much what's going on in the New Testament. It is not an authenticated book. It is not original. It is a creation of fables and fiction. Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 8. This is what the Creator says. In the time of my favor, I will answer you. And in the day of salvation, I will help you. I will keep you and will make you to be a covenant for the people, to restore the land and to reassign its desolate inheritances. Now, Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. For he says, in the time of my favor, I heard you, and in the day of salvation, I helped you. I tell you, now is the time that the Creator's favor, now is the day of salvation. Jesus is simply re-speaking old written former words from the Torah. He's not doing anything original. But what does this do for him? It makes this book called the New Testament believable. After all, if I tell you a lie, what good would that lie be if I don't make it convincing? I've got to make it believable. Now, look at Revelations 22 and 16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to give you the testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright morning star. So Jesus says he is the bright morning star. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 14 and 12. How have you fallen from heaven, you bright morning star? Who is this talking about? Lucifer. Lucifer fell from heaven. So if Lucifer is the bright morning star and Jesus is the bright morning star, then it must have been both Jesus and Lucifer, which are one and the same, that fell from heaven. There's only been one descend from heaven. Only one. But here are two claiming that same theory. Two. So they have to be the same. Son of the dawn, that's Lucifer. How you are cut down to the ground. You who laid the nation. So now we ask, why did this so-called JC come down to the ground? Because he was cast out. Why? Because he wasn't Jesus. He was Lucifer the whole time. Would you admit that having two bright morning stars would create confusion unless they are both one? So again, I say we must learn to hear the words of the only creator, which is in the one Torah. There is not another Torah, and there is no need of another, since the word of the creator is perfect. And with this, I say shalom.